Yes, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit about what happens when you report an incident or suspicions of criminal activity within HM prisons. I've previously told you about me reporting the governor for getting smuggling out letters for a Category A armed robber, and the police were called in to investigate me. Told you what happened when I reported the prison vicar or chaplain or whatever he was for getting young prisoners to suck his todger. Nothing happened, except I got a warning that I wasn't allowed to investigate any senior members of staff. So they were obviously being told that they were at liberty to do what they damn well wanted. And then, of course, I told you what happened when I reported the hostel at Wormwood Scrubs as being used as a base for armed robberies. I was given a formal written caution by the governor and admonished in writing on my record and restricted from the field of promotion for a period of, I believe it was 7 years. Yeah, that's kind of them, wasn't it, when I was really doing the job that I was paid to be doing. But that's the way it was, and things were worse than that. I mean, during the time I reported the hostel as being used for armed robberies, I met a chief inspector in the police who was the head of the flying squad at Scotland Yard, and he gave me some information. He said, I'm going to tell you something here that may do your career some good in the prison service. He said, I've recently come back from visiting a prisoner in the prison at the Isle of Wight, Parkhurst. And he said, he told me where the supply of drugs in the prison at Parkhurst was hidden. He said, I'll tell you, he said, but do not, under any circumstances, tell anyone where you got this information from, because if it gets back, you know, that it came from me, then my source of information at Parkhurst will no longer exist. So, but I'm telling you that they hide the supply of drugs for Parkhurst prison underneath the altar in the chapel there, and it's in one of the vessels that they use for the mass. It's in one of the cups. It's sealed up, and it's underneath the altar, right underneath the altar. So I thought, well, I'd better act on this, you know, because if he's giving me this information, he's giving it me for a reason, you know. So I went to see the #1 chief officer at Wormwood Scrubs. It was a great, you know, industrial unit of a man. And I said to him, I've got some information for you concerning Parkhurst Prison. He said, oh, Parkhurst Prison. He said, what have you got to tell me about Parkhurst Prison? I said, well, I have been given information that details where the drugs that are supplying the prisoners at Parkhurst are being kept. Where they're being kept. He said, right, go on, where are they being kept? So they're being kept underneath the altar in one of the vessels that's used for Holy Communion. Are they really? He said, okay, who told you this? I said, I am not at liberty to disclose my source, you know, because they were extremely concerned that it would jeopardize their ability to maintain their operations. No, I said, I'm giving you a direct order, Mr. Sutton, to tell me who has given you this information. So I said, I'll tell you exactly who it was. I said, oh, do you know, I said, the name was on the tip of my tongue and I just can't get it. I don't know. I've forgotten it. I've forgotten the man's name. I would dearly like to help you. And I would help you if it was possible for me to help you, give you his name. But it's completely gone out of my mind. Get out of my office. Nothing was done. Nothing was done. They didn't act on the information at all. Just ordered me out of the office and tried to get me to disclose my source, which obviously I couldn't do. I was working at not the Scrubs, at Strange Ways, and they circulated a police document, a wanted poster that showed an outline of a man, an image of a man, drawing of a man, wanted for aggravated burglary. Now, aggravated burglary involves a prisoner breaking into a house, or an inmate or prisoner criminal breaking into somebody's house, stealing property, and at the same time abusing them, usually sexually abusing them, raping them, or whatever, along those lines. And I looked at this and I thought, now I know who this man is. Yeah, I know who he was. His name was Jed Cliff. There you are, I've named him for you there. Jed Cliff. And he lived on the same road that I lived on. In fact, he'd been round to my house threatening me when he found out that I was a hospital officer at Strange Ways. He came knocking on my door, shouting abuse, and subsequently called the police and accused me of assaulting him. I mean, this man would do anything, as if a compassionate, caring, kind, understanding individual like me would do anything like that. Seriously. The policeman came to my house and he said, I've made a formal complaint that you've physically assaulted Gerald John Cliff. That was his full name. Jed Cliff, Gerald John Cliff. I said, really? I said, I can't help you there, I mean, he did come to my house earlier asking how I was, because he'd seen me when I was working at the prison. I said, but I haven't seen him since. Why? Has he been hurt? He said, if you didn't hit him, how did he get this big handprint on his face? Well, I'm no Sherlock Holmes. I'm very sorry I couldn't help that officer, but I tried. I did, but I couldn't. Anyway, I reported this to the security office at Strange Ways, which they said, any means to identify this individual, report it through the security office at Strange Ways Prison, which I did. I put it in writing, yeah. And not only did I put it in writing, I found his prison record where there was a photograph of this man, and it looked exactly like the image on the police poster, the wanted poster that they'd had. And I took this to the security office and handed it to them. I said, this is the man, Gerald John Cliff. That is his address, yeah? Because it was about 5 doors up on the other side of the road from where I lived. And seriously, the principal officer in charge of the security unit at Strange Ways looked at this. No, he said, I'm afraid I can't see any resemblance whatsoever. I said, seriously? I said, that's him. I said, look at that. The way his hair falls, the way the eyes are, look at that. Nope. He said, I'm sorry, I think you're mistaken, but thank you very much for coming to see me. And that was it. Anyway, I thought, as usual, this man, you wouldn't trust him to walk your dog round the pond, would you? Yeah. So I phoned my brother, who was at the time a detective sergeant at the local police station in Manchester, just up the road from Strangeways. I phoned my brother. I said, "You're looking for a burglar, an aggravated robber who breaks into houses and molests women?" He said, "Yeah, we are. Everybody's been circulated this photo." I said, "I'll tell you who it is. Gerald John Cliff, that's where he lives." I gave him the address and all that. Subsequently, my brother arrested him, stuck him in front of the court, and he was guilty. I think he got 7 or 8 years. Not seen Gerald John Cliff since. Not bothered about him anyway. But that's how efficient the security services were in the prisons. You might as well have reported it to Muffin the Mule. Anyway, folks, I know that you're a big fan of Sean Atwood. I did a 2-hour interview with him the other day, and it will be on his site, no doubt, sometime this month. And in the meantime, I'm going to murder a song for you now. I'm not really a murderer, not really. The only thing I kill is songs. And I'm going to sing Scarborough Fair for you, which is a famous old English folk song. And as a treat, I'm not going to play the guitar. How about that? So here we go with Scarborough Fair. Are you ready? Are you sitting comfortably? Or have you already switched off? Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there. She once was a true love of mine. Tell her to make me a cambric shirt. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme, without any seam or needlework, and then she'll be a true love of mine. Tell her to wash it in yonder dry well. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme, which never sprung water, no rain ever fell, and then she'll be a true love of mine. I think that's enough. I think I've sabotaged that song, ruined it for you for the rest of your natural. So I'll bid you farewell. That's John G. Sutton, Tales from the Jails. Hope you subscribe, and I'll see you soon.